AI tools are getting legit crazy right now, and I did not want you to miss out. So in this video, we're going to go over 5 real use cases for these new AI features that are going to help you with your local SEO efforts. And I promise only one of them has to do with ChatGPT, and it's not Studio Ghibli photos. And also, you really want to stick around for the last one because it's going to be like looking into the SEO future, and it's pretty freaking nuts. So let's get started with the first AI feature you cannot be missing out on right now: reasoning models. Maybe you've used ChatGPT 01 or heard the hype around 03, but when it comes to practically using these reasoning models for local SEO, I've not had a ton of success until I started to use Grok. Now, say what you want about Elon, but Grok is pretty good at reasoning. Here's the use case that I use it for in my agency. Let's say you're doing keyword research with a tool like SEMrush and you end up with a ton of results. And if you don't have a paid SEMrush account, definitely check out Google Keyword Planner right here, which is actually a free keyword research tool from Google. But whatever tool you're using, you might end up with this giant list. Previously, you'd have to go through the list manually, maybe use some tricks and like sheets to filter and all that, but it just wasn't helpful. But with this many results, the old models couldn't keep up. But if you upload your keyword list, which by the way is what people are searching for on the way to your business, take your keyword list, you put it in there, and you provide this prompt right here. Pause the video to make sure you can copy that exactly. It's a good one. What this model does is it goes through and it thinks. Look, 158 seconds. It's going through and breaking all this stuff down. That's minutes of time that it's doing to break all this down. And then the end, it actually gives us a pretty good list broken down by service. And is it perfect? Probably not, but it's pretty good. And the reason why this is almost revolutionary is I have been trying to get models to do this since the 3.5 days, and it would just hallucinate keywords. It would forget what it was doing, but now you actually have something that can do it. And I just used that with a free Grok account. So definitely go check that out. Now, once you figure out what keywords you want to put on the pages that you're going to build, you really got to work on your copy. And that's going to bring us to use case number 2, using customized chatbots for specific tasks. Now, there's really 2 good ones, I think, right now, and that's custom GPTs with ChatGPT. There's a ton of stuff out there on that, and also projects in Claude. So we're going to try to build a project really fast from scratch, really fast. Now, they give you instructions for how to build a project here in Claude, and so I'm going to take this and use it as kind of an example. Now, I'm a really big fan of StoryBrand, so I'm going to see if we can build a project that helps us build StoryBrand copy really quickly. And so I'm going to use ChatGPT search to get this initial data. And then I'm going to switch over to 4.5 for the vibes to try to create this document here. Actually, I'm going to use 03 Mini. All right, so I prompted it. I turned off search, and we're going to let that ride. Then I tapped 4.5 to output in, I meant to say markdown. I said markup, but I'm glad it figured it out. And then in Claude, you're going to need a paid account for this, but you just click new project. That should get us going here. All right, I had to give me a markdown file, which just disappeared from my downloads folder, but trust me, it did. And now we have this project right here. Now it'd be ideal to talk more about the business here, but I'm going to try to keep this basic just so we can get something quickly. Now remember, projects, just like in ChatGPT, are really for a specific thing. So you would take this MD file, this markdown file, and you'd reuse it for different clients or, different, maybe potentially even different aspects of your business. But let's just jump into it and see what we get from this. And so already it's giving us copy that's so much better than you would get from ChatGPT just saying like, hey, build, like if you just wrote, hey, build me something that's optimizing residential roofers near me, like, no, what you're going to get is not that good. But now you're starting to get stuff that is a little bit more related. And then I told it, just be more personable and stick more to bullet points. Okay, now we're starting to see what actual website copy looks like. Now, of course, this is very thin. This isn't a real business, but if you do your brand script assignment and you put that in here as well, now it's going to start to sound like your business. Rinse and repeat for all your services that you got from the previous assignment, and now you're really starting to leverage AI, and hopefully you're starting to show up a little bit higher on Google. And if you need help when it comes to the on-page SEO aspect, we still have to do that by hand right now. So check out that video where I go over my perfect on-page structure. But I think it's time for our next use case. Are you ready for it? We haven't talked about the GBP yet, and something pretty cool just came out. And it's going to help us with our GBP. That's right, Studio Ghibli images. Just kidding. It was April Fool's yesterday. I don't look like that, do I? But seriously, if you did not know, you can post photos to your Google business profile. And if you were putting AI generated images on your GBP before, you're probably doing local SEO wrong. Let's do a quick refresher. If you search for roofers, Boulder, Colorado, you're going to get sometimes some ads up at the top. But the first thing that typically shows up, that's funny, I used Master Roofers a second ago, and Roof Masters is a real business. That's funny. Anyway, the first thing that's going to show up is the map pack. Okay, this is massively helpful for getting leads online. And below that are the organic results, which is also a great place to show up. But a ton of searches stop right here. Now, when you're doing your GBP, you can also add photos, and these are really visual, and it's not the best to do like stock photos, and it's really not good to do those crappy old ChatGPT dolly images. Just don't do that. But what if we want to make something that looks like it's a professionally shot photo, but we just don't have the budget to get a professional photographer out there for our contracting business? So what we can do is we can have ChatGPT make a better prompt for us, and then using this new 4.0 image generation model, which has a lot of rate limits and really only works well if you have a paid plan, but hey, it's $20 per month. If you have a business, you can afford $20 per month. But if you do all that, you actually get some pretty decent images. Let's see what we get on this one. And I mean, let's be real, this still looks like AI to an extent. Like the house kind of doesn't look real. I'm not really sure where this guy is on the roof actually, but this is one shot or zero shot, if you want to call it that. You know, we haven't iterated on this image at all. What we can do now is we can say, actually, we don't need the person, because the person's going to give it away that this isn't a fake photo or that this isn't a real photo. I mean, who wears one glove? Weird. But also at a glance, if this is just under GBP, like, this could maybe pass for real at this point. Like, it's getting closer and closer, right? And so maybe what we tell it to do is, instead of giving us this photorealistic thing, maybe it's just we find a stock photo that we like on something like Unsplash, and now it's got a better inspo pick. And maybe this isn't the image you're going to use on your actual GBP, because I'd really encourage you to keep using real images there. But you also have these GBP posts, which we've actually seen help get some of our clients into the map pack, like literally just posting there, which is crazy because a lot of the research says it doesn't make a difference, but it does help. And so instead of using another stock photo, make your own stock photo. It's kind of cool. Okay, now see, this is a nice vibey photo that you could put somewhere on your website, but you probably want to do one more prompt and get rid of whatever the heck that is. But after that, I think this could blend right in and be perfect for a GBP post. But that's enough about images, because now it's time to talk about something much different. But first, a little context. I think that your early efforts should be focused at the bottom of the sales funnel. These are commercial intent keywords, things like roofers near me, which you're going to target with your service pages. Now, way down the road, once you've taken care of all of that, for all of the services that you do and all of the locations that you serve, check out this video for a video on location pages if you don't know about those. Until you've done all that, don't even pay attention to number 4. But once you have, number 4 can be massively helpful, and it can also help with user experience. This is creating a tool that can become a linkable asset. Okay, getting links to your website is massively helpful to build authority, and that's what actually gets you to rank higher. Now, a lot of people tell you to write these guides or blogs or blah, blah, blah. People aren't going to link back to that. But if you can make an actual tool that people use, then there's a chance they'll link back to it. I recently kind of vibe coded this calculator for web design businesses, and I showed this off at a summit talk, and people were losing their minds. They're like, how did you make this? You know, it's like, oh, like I used ChatGPT 03 high when it first came out, and we iterated on the page, and you know, it's just HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, no big deal. But now we have 2.5 Pro. This is crazy, okay? So first things first, let's figure out what could even be helpful for our fake roofing client in Boulder. Now, if you haven't used deep research and audio overviews, I encourage you to check that at some point. That would be probably a good use. I'm just gonna use Grok's deep research here for a second. So this deep search tool, you can get this on the free plan. It's pretty slick. I like it. Now, while Grok's off doing the homework for us, the reason why we're using Gemini 2.5 Pro for this is it is the top coding model right now. When you watch this video a few weeks or a few months down the road, somebody else might have taken the lead. So just pay attention to whoever is the best at coding, because they're going to be the easiest to help you build this tool right away. And also, you want to make sure in the prompt, I'm going to show you here in a second, that you always say just use HTML, CSS, and JavaScript in one file. That's going to be the best way to just put this in your WordPress site or Webflow or whatever you're using, and you can just plug it right in, okay? All right, now since Grok has a reasoning model, I'm going to have it create a project description and a README file for me using its thinking model, and then I'm going to bring that back over to Gemini 2.5 to actually do the coding. I'll leave my prompt up here while it's thinking. So we decided to go with a roofing cost calculator here. Sounds pretty cool. Obviously, that's going to vary business to business. So I add some notes to say, hey, make it pretty easy to swap out those numbers for the business owner once we get this going. By the way, I'm super excited to show off number 5. I can't wait till we get to that one. In case you haven't figured out the secret of like middle 2025 AI use, it's like AI talking to AI. So don't be afraid to tell it that it's going to pass its information on to another AI. Now, the cool thing about Gemini 2.5 is it is also a thinking model, and it's also really fast at creating code. And we'll tell it to get to work. And I also enabled Canvas, so we could probably test this out in Gemini. And what I want you to see here is like, look how fast Gemini 2.5 is. It's kicking butt, right? It's already spitting this stuff out pretty fast. And I like, look, here's the variables up at the top for the color. So if we want to swap that out, we can do that. It's also got the font, which I didn't even think about. It looks like it's using Tailwind, so it should look pretty modern and probably won't clash with whatever font or whatever style we have going on here. And there it is. Actually, there is our little roofing calculator right there. So let's go check this out. All right, so I'm going to go in here and I'm going to say, the roof size is 1,500 square feet. Sure, we'll go with the example. Material, asphalt shingles. Let's go with metal roofing. And we'll go with a moderate complexity. Only estimates, calculate estimated cost. And I'm not seeing anything happen when we click the button. So this is where vibe coding comes in, right? You just tell it like, hey, I clicked the button and it didn't do anything. That's pretty crazy. It actually checked the logs, the JavaScript error logs when it was doing that. It's also cool it's multimodal, so you can upload screenshots to help it out if it gets stuck. Oh, snap. Okay, it's finally working. Okay, so asphalt shingles, boom, slate. Let's make it, oh, slate's expensive. All right, cool. And then I think if we go to the code now, well, we could probably ask Gemini. Okay, it actually, this isn't what I wanted to do, but it actually printed out a doc, which is pretty cool. And so it's actually really explaining step by step how you would do that. And then I haven't actually used Canvas a lot, so I'm not sure how to get back to the other doc. Okay, so you click the X, and then it's right here. You just click open to get this pulled back up. And that's it. That's crazy. Okay, so now you got to go into this code, right? And you got to make sure you're pulling out the right stuff. The CS, the HTML is right here. It's a small chunk. Here's the JavaScript that you'll need to add. And here's the CSS. Small chunks. And if you have those numbers in your head, okay, we just got something here. And in fact, we could add another step where we're able to capture their emails with that cost estimator tool. And guess what? Now you have a lead, a very valuable lead, because they're already looking at pricing. Pretty cool. It only took us a couple minutes. And we could have that dang near perfected in a few more minutes. And if you want a custom cost calculator on your roofing website, reach out to us, because apparently we have that tool now. And while all of this is super cool, none of this compares to number 5, AI agents. Now, before I want to get into this, I am not a fan of hype. So trust me when I tell you this. I just used this today, and I spent about $3.34 in API credits or cost or whatever you want to call it. And it basically did nothing useful. But what it did show me was a glimpse of the future. And so I want to show you how you can play around with this and waste a couple bucks yourself like I did, but how wasting those couple dollars might help you get a leg up when this tool gets just a little bit better, because it's pretty dang close. Now, I'm not going to do a full tutorial on this. You can find other videos, Julian Gouldy and all these other guys out there post videos on this stuff all the time. What you're going to need is VS Code. You're going to need Rue Code, which I think is sometimes called Klein. And I think that's it. If you've never used VS Code before, it's like a code editor. Typically, Root Code is just an extension. You get it from the little extension store on there. Again, just look up a Root Code tutorial and they'll walk you through those steps. Here's what you need to do to be able to add agentic features, okay? Listen to me here. You got to follow these steps. Boom. Number one, go to the settings that I just clicked on up there. And then you're going to go over here and you're going to switch your AI provider to Anthropic, and you're going to add an API key. I'm going to show you how to do that here in a second. And you're going to want to use 3.7 Sonnet. You can also do 3.5 Sonnet, but it's the same cost, and so you might as well use the better model. You could do Thinking too, but I don't think it's worth the extra compute at this point. So just do that, and it won't cost too much. And then scroll down. I got this part wrong a lot. Change the viewport size. Make sure this is enabled, viewport size, and then use remote browser connection, and then test connection after I show you how to do a step here in just a second. This is important because when you look at things like ChatGPT's computer use, or even potentially Manus, I don't have access to it, so I don't know how it works. They don't have the ability to log into your accounts yet. And that's, I mean, for security reasons, that's a good thing. But if you just want to do some quick agentic work and you want your agent to log into your tools locally on your machine, like, I mean, why not, right? And so this is the way that you need to do that. This step's massively, massively important. You can't skip this step. Open terminal on your computer or command prompt. I don't really know how to do it on Windows. Just look it up, ask Claude or ChatGPT to help you on this. Before you get started, quit out of all of your Chrome instances. Right click, exit, quit, whatever it is, right? And then you go into terminal. But on Mac, just paste this command in. If I remember, we'll put this in the description. If I forget, drop a comment below. We'll get it added to the description. Okay, so put that in there, then hit enter. It's going to pull up all of your Chrome accounts. Pick the Chrome account you want to go with, okay? And then go back into the root code settings after that. Then you could do this test connection thing. I couldn't find this forever and it wasn't working for me and I was so pissed off, but there you go. That's how you do it. It's super easy actually. Once you've done all that stuff, hit save and then hit done. And if you don't have Anthropic API key, I believe you have to pay for Claude. So, I mean, sign up for a month to play around with it. It's $20. And again, it's only going to cost you a couple dollars. I'll show you really quickly how to get your API key. Just go to console.anthropic.com, click get API keys, and then click add and treat that thing like a password. Don't give it to anybody. Don't put it on the internet, all that stuff. I'm not even going to click this button here, and I blocked out mine that I have for this one, okay? But that's where you get your API key, okay? You do that, and then you click done and save up here if you haven't already, and then go back to plus, and now you can do a new task. I'm gonna run through the workflow I did here earlier where I wasted that $3. I want to show you some of the stuff that I had it do. So I had it go into SEMrush and perform keyword research. If you're not familiar with SEMrush, it's a keyword research tool, kind of like what we were doing earlier. And it used the paid version of SEMrush. It reported back with its findings. And then what I had it do is I wanted it to go in, and this was kind of cool. I had it do some competitor research. And when it got done with the competitor research, it actually took those businesses and put them into the keyword gap tool and got us more keywords to work with. Then I tried to get it to finish the workflow by going to Grok and making a Google Sheet, and actually had a lot of trouble inputting information into Grok. And then if you actually look at this, it kept getting stuck on B2 because it got bigger. And so the big takeaway is that it's not really ready for prime time. It's fun for these cute little projects where we have it do a couple things, but it just it can't really do anything yet. But if you want to play with it, let's just do something really fast. So the prompt I'm going to use here is look up roofers, Boulder, Colorado on Google. Look at the top 5 businesses in the organic results, not sponsored, not map pack, not directories like Yelp. Go to each of their pages and report back with their SEO hotspots. Should be able to do that by looking at the code. Let's see if it figures that out. SEO title, meta description, URL, H1, and by presenting a report on these businesses. I've never tried this before. Let's just see if it works, all right? This is our real test here. Can we do competitor research with an AI agent? So we're hitting run, and there it goes. It's created its task. It goes out to the browser, and it's got the browser going right there. I lost my VS Code. So I'm gonna go like this. So you can see it's clicking around right now. It gives you the cost as you're going. So we're up to 6 cents right now. And let's see, it's still going. It's scrolling down. You see that? And it looks like it's got its ones. Okay, this is it found Yelp and it said, wait, no, this is a directory. Keep going. So I like that. So it's going down. It's probably going to see Gaff and it's going to see Angie's list. So I hope it excludes that. This is a directory. This is the same as 3. It found a duplicate listing, so that's nice. Gaff, this appears to be a manufacturer, not a local business. I like this. Okay, so it's actually going through. The first page it went to is Angie. So hopefully it doesn't start pulling businesses from Angie because that would be annoying. So let's see what happens. I need to click the back button. I see I've been redirected to Angie. It's funny to watch. It's like dialogue. All right, I'm just going to kick back and I'll let you see the finished product at this point because these things tend to get interesting. Also, this happens a lot. You might hit your rate limits if you start running into like circles of death like that. That's funny. It just threw up its hands and said, I'm starting over. Love it. So I hit cancel because I noticed that it wasn't actually looking for the SEO title and meta description. It was just kind of guessing. And so as we get better at prompting our AI agents, they're going to get better at their task. It's just like talking to ChatGPT. And I also did click this auto approve, which I probably wouldn't recommend in the early days, but it speeds things up a lot. Okay, now it's running curl commands. That's okay. So we could add that to the workflow of like just run curl commands to get this information. So now that I can just run curl commands, I was actually able to switch over to Gemini and it's doing this for free. All right, and so we were able to get to the end of the task. It screwed up for one of them, but it got the rest of them. And at the very least, we got some information. Was that faster than using a human? I don't think so. No, not yet. But remember, when it comes to AI, every time we use it, it's the worst version that we're going to use ever again. It's going to keep getting better. As the months go on in 2025, Code and similar competitors are going to keep getting better and better. These computer use models are going to get to learn stuff. We're probably going to be able to even make projects and custom GPTs like instructions for our agents. So as they do repetitive tasks, just like we will with a human with SOPs, they're going to be better, more efficient, use less tokens. And that's honestly the part where it starts to get a little bit scary, right? So I won't go any more into that. But if you're a small business owner that serves local customers, you're trying to show up higher on Google to get more leads so that way you can grow your business in these scary AI times, well, then check out this video that we're going to have linked right here because that's actually the walkthrough of my 30-day local SEO playbook. It's a totally free walkthrough. It's like an hour and 34 minutes, 30 days of SEO activities that'll really get you going. So check out that video now because I feel like 2025 is going to be your year. Don't get left behind and don't let those agents outrace you. I'll catch you in the next one.